Greetings, I am Lies.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game together.
Yes.
Alrighty, everybody. So, things have been changing slightly about the experience of this game in an effort to make things weird. We showed you the intro screen last time when we were trying to figure out if we should keep playing or not.
Right.
Where there was a really glitched Sayori, and this time...
so when we actually loaded into the start of the game, normally you know how it pops up with the whole Team Salvato little intro box. It actually shifted from a blank screen to another screen where all it said was null in the middle. It was a white background, and then it just shifted away
and just popped to the the entry screen.
Yeah, to just a regular old menu.
So
which still has Sayori gone, of course, who's been eaten more or less by the other characters.
Yeah, sort of glitched out and mixed.
Yeah.
But
we've discovered, so we're not going to necessarily show it on screen. I know you guys can probably find them across the internet at this rate. But there, and I don't know if you want to go look right now. I know we take some time to get there. But there is actually apparently, if you go into the game files themselves, so the game folder actually has been getting additional little things dropped in there.
With weird names.
Like anyway, one of them is Happy Thoughts, and it's a weird little glitched out chibi sort of tiny little face of Sayori. And then there's another one where it makes the reference where we're both guessing that it's actually Monica talking.
But we're not sure.
Where they're going, somebody's just basically referring to the fact that, oh, this one, she's really causing some problems. I guess, I should delete her, and I guess we'll see what happens, kind of thing. So...
No, we don't know that, but since we've gone Monica's self-aware, since that's our assumption at this point, that's what we think is happening.
Right.
Anyway, so we're gonna proceed from here and see what goes on.
Aha!
All right. What kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphor indicates you've written a lot of poetry before.
Really? I guess. Well, that's a huge compliment coming from you, except for the fact that, I don't know if you really write poetry at all, so that's a little bit weird for me to say, to be honest. I think I'm just trying to, placate you. It's okay, honey.
It's huge coming from you.
Wow! Huge! Like your boobs. This is actually my first time.
Really?
Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again.
Oh, well, I know that. I just meant,
Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse.
Try to excuse your behavior, honey. Just
you see,
try.
Honey, I'm just, brilliant. You just gotta understand genius at work.
Genius.
She traces her finger along the words in the poem as if breaking it down more thoroughly.
Yeah. Okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. And having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most noticeable thing I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate.
Yes, you'll guess that. I tried specifically going for you.
In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form fit the two together.
Oh, that actually kind of reminds me. So there also was another file that we found as well, where it was talking about, it's a weird little, the devil's in the whatever the crap, I can't remember this weird little paragraph where it's sort of talking about, going well, it's just all these characters basically is the implication are insecure, or they have issues, or one of them self-cuts and self-harms a lot. And
there was basically this idea that all of them already have problems.
Yeah, they're all horrible people anyway. I didn't do anything. I just untied the knot, as the ending line says.
Yeah, and the interpretation we both got was basically of whoever's running this or collected the people into this, which again we assume Monica, because again she seems to be the only one who can break the fourth wall.
Right.
And except for sort of the mind reading that's happened occasionally, which is weird.
Yeah.
But isn't necessarily a fourth wall break. It's just a weird thing. I would say is that basically she's like, I collected people together to do this thing, and honestly, it makes me think of our reaction to the remake live action Beauty and the Beast.
Oh,
where
God,
we're like,
yeah.
This is a major fae trying to ship her OTP.
Yes! Oh, God! So, actually, if you guys don't know, we might have talked about it at one point, but when we originally watched, the remake of Beauty and the Beast, this is something
by
that
Disney.
I regret.
It's a live-action Disney version, anyway.
I regret.
We really didn't like it overall.
Yeah.
There were some cool things in it.
Yep.
But overall, it was like it just didn't add anything for us
Yeah.
or do anything. So we came up with these fun headcanons of going, you had a much more prominent play of the fairy that caused the problem in that movie.
Right.
They decided to add her in as a character, which was an interesting choice.
Right?
But at the same time, I'm like, okay, we've got this thing based on what they've done of going, our headcanon is essentially they're going, I have decided that I'm going to ship mortals together.
Because
and this
it's
is
fun.
my OTP. This makes my life interesting. I'm basically going to consider them my OCs.
I got a romance book that I found by the humans, and I thought it was so fascinating, so I decided to make it happen.
I'm going to play it out. It'll be amazing. And so I think we might have covered it in one of our grinding casts.
Maybe.
But anyway, it was a really fun train of thought. And this sort of reminds me of that, of just some very powerful creature pulling stuff together to create an experience for Temortal or the ordinary person and going, I can do this. I can make this work.
Right.
How does this work?
Huh?
Yeah, something very powerful playing with simpler, I say in quotes, things they don't understand.
Right, all right.
Or less powerful things, really, because they're not really simpler. They're just less powerful.
Yes.
The end result is that both the style and the expressiveness are weakened.
Once Yuri finds her trains of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone, and she sounds like an expert.
Yep. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. The weakening of your style.
Right.
And the fact that I will now tear it apart, even though I was really happy with it a moment ago before you pointed out how new it was. Sometimes it's just really important to realize that people who love art love mature art. So if they were impressed by your thing initially, once they know you're not experienced and you didn't do it through education and practice, it's just not as valuable. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback, just like I have, because my feedback is valuable.
Quite.
Natsuki can be a little bit biased, though.
Biased? How? Like you're not?
Never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Remember how I established that I am the perfect soft waifu? Wait, I haven't established that yet. It's just I need to
It's fine.
maintain my
It's fine.
composure.
Honey, it's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri is apologizing to herself, to me, or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Like, please?
Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it.
Yuri smiles dreamily, as if that's a rare opportunity for her.
Because no one listens
Which
to her.
itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? But we have already mentioned before that we've never done this before, and Monica even explicitly says that, even in this redo, they've never done that. So I'm fine. It's okay. Our character is being weird. It's okay.
The character
Ghost.
is just like themselves, is not paying attention to details.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you already know the literature stuff and have people paying attention to your literature? I literally just started as well. Weird.
Where? Wild. Ghost under the light. The tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow. Bathing. It must be this one. The last remaining streetlight to have withstood the test of time. The last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe. Calm, breathing air of the present, but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back.
The light flickers. About to go out and be replaced by the future. I flicker back. Also about to go out? I guess.
Tendrils of my hair. So are we making some sort of, like, one, tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow. To me, it's like, well, it's bathing, and I'm like, or you're a ghost kind of thing. I'm bathing, I'm suffocating, I'm drowning.
Also, there's the last remaining streetlight that withstood the test of time is basically, you can also go really deep and go the last vestiges of childhood or what have you, the last vestiges of what was before massive change happens. And then the light, which is that only thing, that testament to before things change, flickers, which is an indication of it's about to go out.
Right.
And then I flicker back. I also am about to change.
Yes.
And going, but that thing that was good of the past that withstood the test of time, I am also breaking down.
Right. Calm, breathing air of the present, but also, but living in the past. That
And
would
then
make, that
You're going to be unable to live in the past once the flickering stops.
Yeah.
And you go
You've
out.
got to change. Yeah, you gotta go out. Okay.
The plot of could you describe your entire Sandman series in one sentence? Neil Gaiman for his, 8-book series. Going, the Dream King has to choose whether to change or
not.
die. Period.
I guess what he chooses.
I guess that's it. I'm sorry I have such terrible handwriting.
Oh, please. We said this last time. You do not.
Huh.
What? I wasn't thinking about that at all.
But it took you a long time to read. Even though the book we were reading together took you a long time to read.
Well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. I wonder, shockingly, if the game reacts differently if you pap into it and don't spend very long on it and just pap through. Like it'll actually, Yuri will respond and go, you spent so long on it though. And because she's actually really responding to, we're spending a long time lingering on the page.
That would be interesting. On the other hand, we've also read very slowly when we were reading the book with her.
Right.
And we've said we don't read very often, so it could just be Splat reads slowly.
Maybe.
But that would be an interesting thing. I would love it if there was actually some things in the game that reacted to how quickly you clicked through the screens.
Right.
Like, I've been in some games that do that. They don't have any kind of visible timer or anything, but you get different dialogue trees depending on how quickly you go through stuff.
Right.
And I know in psychology there's a lot of tests that they'll do that aren't based on actually what your reaction is in a multiple choice thing. It's actually how long you think about it, but they tell you it's what you choose.
Right.
And so like there are some for like personalities and stuff, and I find this to be pretty devious, but it is like how long you stare at and process either the picture or the information or the story or whatever it is before you choose your choice. Do you make snap decisions, or do you think a long time, or are you fixated on images or what have you,
right,
rather than what you even say?
I actually think your handwriting is pretty.
That's a relief.
Also, I like the poem. Even though it was short, it was really descriptive. I don't fucking get it though, but like
it wasn't too short.
It's not like Natsuki short.
I really usually write longer poems.
Not at all, girl, please.
I didn't have to read very much, so it was still great.
Oh my god, that was my favorite part. I could fucking be done with you. I mean, everyone, much faster.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I'm really glad you like it. I'll be honest. Since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose.
Are you into ghosts, Yuri? See, I told you it was ghosts.
Well, no, but we did that the first time around as well, going, this is about ghosts, but I don't really catch the ghost thing.
Yeah.
Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, Splat.
Really? I must have totally missed the point, and you will still never explain it, but it's okay.
Well, I suppose you did only glance over it. Why did you take so long? You just glanced over it. She just dismisses so many things immediately to, adjust to her worldview. It's fascinating.
I think it's also really interesting, too, because with these little... I like basically extremely good like character quirks. It is acknowledging basically the paradox of the existence of these characters, which is actually like I have to say these are some of the more realistic characters I've ever run into for that particular behavior because people constantly contradict themselves.
They do,
and
really are
honestly
uneven. And I think it's really interesting, but they tried to create very strong personalities for each of the characters. Where even in the game, it's this one's quirky and this one's assertive and whatever it is. But with Yuri, there's this really clear that I've from the very beginning, like sort of. I don't mean it negatively, but just like two-faced experience.
Right.
So like I'm trying really hard to present one thing, but inside I really am another thing.
Right.
And going, and what I pegged her as very immediately was I'm trying very hard for that soft, feminine sort of waifu experience, but I really do have strong opinions and a lot of fucking judgments. And also like I feel like I'm very defensive of the things I'm good at.
Right.
And in the way that she really does come back with you're not as smart as me. You don't use as big as words as me. I'm more sophisticated than you.
Right.
And then also trying to defend that position in this pace, too, of going first asking, why did you take so long to read it? And going, well, you just glanced at it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And sort of, again, supporting her own sort of position on things.
And again, that's what makes it so fascinating, though, because I feel like sometimes when people try to write stories where they have stuff like this, I've watched other people go, God, they're so fucking wishy-washy, and it's like you didn't pick up on the fact that they were being a complete shit,
or that they're being, in this case,
defensive
or really
they
insecure kind of thing. Like she is, I would be if I was allowed to and supported by possibly like a tirating bitch, if
Right.
you will, kind of
Uh-huh.
thing. I might just show up and be like, you're bad and you're wrong and I'm right and I'm superior to everyone.
Uh-huh.
But she's going, I'm not allowed to do or be that. And the reason she feels a need to do those is because, sort of in the way that we've described, toxic gender roles or social roles, that she feels deeply insecure about her value.
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
No, which works great.
Yep, no, it works well. It makes her more complex and interesting.
Mhm.
But remember that poets often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. Do their eyes usually move, or do they usually just pop to that position? Because that was the eyes actually just rolling over to look at us instead of it just switching frames.
I did not notice because I was looking down.
That's
So,
okay. That
I
was
missed
very
it.
interesting. It was more animation than previously,
Eh,
as far as my memory serves.
That's okay.
In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost. Lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, before you have to move to the uncomfortable. And soon to be left with nothing. Nothing comfortable.
That's a lot more solemn, putting it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, you're bad.
No, I hadn't even thought of that. No,
I didn't really think at all.
no, that's impressive.
It's nothing, really. Yours was impressive, too. So...
Nah. If anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you.
You think so?
Yeah, of course. Because I fucking don't care, honey, unlike you.
I was really nervous about doing all this, but in the end, I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you, Splat.
Me too.
I'll do my best for me as well.
Right.
Yes.
I'm gonna show it to Natsuki next.
Who
so
should I show my poem to next?
Here we go. Natsuki!
Are there any other buttons, like hidden or otherwise?
Splat, you're not gonna take this club seriously. If you're not gonna take this club seriously, then go home.
What?
What? Harsh. What? Do you expect me to believe that you actually put effort into this? Do you think I'm stupid? I'm not a writer. Oh my god, you judgmental little hoe.
I really
Like-
could have just put absolutely any words down with proper punctuation, and it
Absolutely.
should be a poem because I know nothing about poems, okay?
Oh my god, maybe it's not very good, but yeah, I did put in effort. We all start somewhere, right? If you're still proud of the first poem you ever wrote, then I'd like to read it.
Ha,
Uh,
ha.
painful to think about.
Just
Oh wait,
like your high school OCs.
just like your height.
That too. Ha.
Fine. Well, sorry. You'll get better anyway. I tell you what to improve, but you're better off just trying again. Fair enough? That's really literally not a fucking critique, but okay. Well, to each their own. Oh my god. Oh, well, I guess I gotta share mine now. Knowing you, you'll probably think it's stupid.
All right.
Eagles can fly. Monkeys can climb, crickets can leap, horses can race, owls can seek, cheetahs can run, eagles can fly, people can try, but that's about it. Oh, so these are the same poems. Okay,
Yeah,
I
I
wasn't
think
actually
they
sure.
are identical poems. I say, and I would tend to go with the same thing for that one of just going, basically it feels like everything has its purpose, but people. People
Yes.
don't have a distinctive, clear purpose for themselves, so their lives are more frustrating, more complicated, less assured, whatever it is.
Right?
That it's a poem about, and our life is just over there.
Right? Yeah. I told you that you weren't gonna like it. I like it. What?
It's really short.
Just be honest! I am! Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it? I love tiny things.
Oh my god,
Like
like
you.
you.
Well, because everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff.
And that sophistication looks like a certain thing. So
Yes.
I'm going to come back to that again, is that, and I mentioned it before, but just briefly going, when people say it has to be sophisticated, and that what that means is that I have an idea of what sophistication looks like.
Oh my god.
Because again, a poem with small words and very basic vocabulary structure
Right.
can still be incredibly sophisticated depending on what you do with it. Hence the sort of experience of haikus and such.
Uh-huh.
Like if you study the culture of haikus, the idea is that there's like 6 different things that are supposed to go into the 575 haiku format.
Right.
And
then there's
really,
also even one where it's like, was 6 something?
well, but if you
Yeah.
use your traditional, like the one that's passed around America most is your 575, and there can be
Yeah.
other formats of haiku, but basically you're supposed to have something surprising and unexpected and also a clever conclusion and things like that. So it's not just telling a story in 575 syllable format. It's also going, I set you up for something and then have a clever, interesting, surprising conclusion that fits with the other things.
Right.
So it's sort of like all the people who love doing puns
Yeah.
or, you know, like dad jokes and stuff and going, it has to be clever, but in a way you don't expect it. So you kind of just, A really good haiku can be one that just makes you sigh and roll your eyes.
Yes!
Anyway, I love that about haikus.
So everyone in high school thinks writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff. So people don't take my writing seriously. But isn't the point of poems for people to express themselves?
Like, isn't it? Isn't that what it
like
is?
the thing you're trying to stop me from doing?
Or that you said I didn't do well.
Like at all. Oh my god. But you know what? We're gonna have to fucking deal with that in the next one!
So if you need to express
Express
yourself, do it in the next one.
Yes, absolutely. I don't want to hear about it here.
Or in the comments afterwards.
Oh, that's true. You can take the time to like, comment, subscribe, and also share our videos if you want to express yourself.
Express yourself.
Please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or Patreon. Got the links in the description down below. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies. And it
it
was
was
great playing with you. Bye!